Good morning. Welcome to subramani.com. Please click on the bell icon. I hope you're liking these videos. These are slightly different from what you get every day. So now today let me talk to you a little about what I learned about value investing from a good friend and a real big time value investor. It's always nice to carry on conversations with him. He's one guy who predicts the market completely wrong on a short term basis and brilliantly right on a long term basis. Right? And I have a lot of respect for him. And if I give you his net worth, you'll start guessing the names while not talking about his net worth. So one dialogue which I've had with him, I've recorded in my blog, subramani.com. So let me start. One day when the market had gone down, he looked very happy. Of course, he's a person who looks happy when the market goes up or goes down. He's absolutely indifferent to what happens in the market. And so I asked him, you sound very happy when the markets go down, is it true? And he started laughing. He said, yes. He says, you know this share, I don't want to name a share going, I bought it at a high price, I bought it at a low price, and I bought it at a lower price. And I've been buying this share over the last 12, 13 years. I said, that's too much for acquisition. He said, yes, but it's like going to a restaurant. If you like a restaurant, you keep going to the same restaurant again and again. That was a good analogy. So he has invested in various companies, Hero Honda, Sun Pharma, and he's been buying at various points in time. At some points when he thinks it's overpriced, he may not buy, but he may not sell too much also, but he's just held on and on for very long periods of time. He must have bought HDFC Limited and HDFC Bank right from 1980s till today. He could still be buying, right? And he could also be selling, but largely more a buyer than a seller. Same thing is lots of Infosys, lots of TCS. Tons of buying at various points in time and occasionally selling. And I like what he says. He says, I don't sell, I switch, which is a very nice way to look at it. If I sell a Infosys and buy a TCS, really, I am not selling, because selling means when I use it for consumption. Then you feel guilty, oh God, should I sell this share? You never sell, right? You switch. So he switches, he doesn't sell, he doesn't need to sell. His dividend income is much more than enough for his day-to-day life. So obviously his portfolio gets built. So he's bought lots of shares, I don't want to name them. Then I was asking him, this conversation I think happened sometime in 2018 June. So I asked him, what do you think of the market? Is it high or low? So he said, look, you know that I have zero ability to predict the market on a day-to-day basis. So on days when I say the market will go up by 58 points, it ends up minus 232 points. So I have no clue what the market will do, but I know in the long run what the EPS will do, what the PE will do, and therefore what will be the value of the share 30, 40 years hence, I know. But don't ask me on a day-to-day basis what happens. In the long run, I believe with this quality of management and this IT services and this, I think it will give me good growth. But of course, I'll keep reviewing what is happening, whether the management is good, etc. But my view on this share is again 30, 40 years. But in the meanwhile, if I get information to the contrary, I'll quit. Now, many people who invest in the long run, or they think they're investing for the long run, forget one very important thing called survivor bias. So they go to past data and say, if I had done an SIP in ITC, I would have done very well. If I had done an SIP in HUL, I would have done very well. Sure, you would have done very well, but at the same time, there is no reason why you wouldn't have done an SIP in Nirlon. Why you wouldn't have done an SIP in Century? You could have done it in some other companies also, which today are not so great. You would have still made money, make no mistake, you would have still made money, but you would have always been better off with a mutual fund, because somebody is day in and day out listening to the market, which most retail investors don't. So when a retail investor buys a share, he buys more of the share when it goes down. Why does he buy more? Because he thinks he's averaging. No, he's panicking. He wants an endorsement for his decision of buying a share at 100, which is now quoting at 70. He feels guilty. He says, let me buy more at 70, because if I sell off everything at 85, I still make money. So he buys at 70, he buys at 60, he buys at 50, he buys at 30. He has no clue why the share price is falling. For example, recent fall in ITC is purely technical. the supply is increasing from the government side. So it is bound to remain soft over long periods of time till the supply gets absorbed. This is not a reflection on the company. This is not a reflection on the government thinking that the company is bad. No, but the government wants money. So tactically the government is saying, I don't want to be in equities of the private sector. So let me sell off my ITC stake and let me sell off my Axis Bank stake. Let me sell off my Larsen and Toubro stake. This has got nothing to do with company performance. One investor who needs money called Government of India is selling. But when the volume of shares available in the market increases, the price of the share is bound to go south. This is simple demand and supply, no great brain required. But please understand that India is a funny market where there is not too much depth. The futures market, the 30-day price is nice, but the 90-day price, well, there is just not enough volume to justify the price. Now, if you take Santosh Kamath's problem in Franklin Templeton, I am talking about debt. Clearly, the problem is there is no secondary debt market in this country. So we have been promised, it's not there, right? So when you are investing with 3-year views and 30-year views, your views have to be different. So I asked him one question where I think I'll have to name the company. I said, recently Cummins did not come out with good results. Are you still holding the shares? He said, yes, of course I hold. I have a small concentrated portfolio which includes Cummins, and I have been holding this since the 1980s when it was Kirloskar Cummins. And he said one thing very significant. He said, one poor result does not matter. In fact, I've been using such opportunities to buy more shares. How many of us think that way? When company announces bad results, should you sell? Well, sometimes you should sell and sometimes you should be buying more. Sometimes you should wait for the market to react, because when the day the market goes down, maybe a better opportunity to buy than the day when this company announces its results. On that day, there could be some hyperactivity. Just stay away. After a few weeks, the price will settle down and you can buy it. So I said, give me one bit of advice. So he said, well, one bit of advice is actually two things in the market. One, market will be volatile. This is not true. Mr. J.P. Morgan said it a few decades earlier. So markets will be volatile. It is impossible for the markets to be anything other than volatile. But you need to have good meditative skills to sit tight when the tiger is sniffing at your feet. That's so important. If you're just sitting there in the forest, you're meditating and a tiger comes very close to you and you know that there is a tiger very close to you, the most important thing is to sit calm. Not many of us can do it, but the rewards are dramatic for those people who can sit calm. He also said that once he went through a near-death kind of an experience where he was saved and protected by a large industrialist. If he had gone under, he would not be living to tell the tale. I have seen this veteran investor lose 150, 180 crores in a day, right? On days of bad valuation for some of the shares that he holds. I have seen him lose that kind of money. Does it bug him? No, because he doesn't need the money. All of us have to start thinking in those terms. Do we need the money, or are we just getting excited and holding everything in cash, right? Thank you.